Alright everyone, today I'm going to talk about the GFN 4080 tier. I am playing on a MacBook Pro M1 from 2020. I've also played, I believe, on 2016 MacBook Pro. You could just see that we had a little frame stutter, so let's check that out. It's not showing a frame drop. It could have been my personal computer. We're running at 25% CPU right now. Normally that drops down to about 11 that we're at now. Okay, good. But let's just check it out here. I'm still running the same specs as the video I did last year. As you can see here in the top right corner, we have about 100 megabytes per second bandwidth total available, and we're using about half that. Let me cut this music down a little bit. So we're using about half the bandwidth or a quarter of the bandwidth. This is good. I'll show you guys the settings in the GFN home setting screen. We're doing an Ethernet connection. That's my first tip for GFN, is always use an Ethernet connection. I started on Wi-Fi, and there's a whole bunch of issues that are with Wi-Fi. You can get away with non-responsive games on Wi-Fi, like if you're playing Magic the Gathering, like a card game where you just shift the cards back and forth. I've done that in hotels all the time. But for a game like Apex Legends, Rocket League, Fortnite, even single player games that are, you know, RTX intensive, RTX on type games. But I just kind of want to illustrate that it is that GFN is very responsive. The 4080 tier is very responsive. I'm at a 16 millisecond ping to the GFN server, and then I guess it's not showing me my in-game stat here, but usually it's about the same for the GFN server to the Apex server, the EA server, right, or whatever game you're playing server. So that is going to be your total lag. You do have this additional lag that I guess a native system might not have, or it may not be as high as 16 milliseconds. But 16 milliseconds is about as best as we get. And it allows for a near native experience. I would just say, right? What else can I share while we are in game here? Let's see. So just to kind of reiterate what the 4080 tier is difference, it allows you 120 frames per second, which we are running in game here. You're not going to be able to tell in a YouTube video because I believe this is getting exported at 720p and 30 frames per second. So you're not going to be able to tell the 60 frames per second. I might go ahead and actually, I'm making this video basically by doing a Twitch broadcast, and then I'll download that video. And my system, you are going to need a beefy video card setup if you're going to be streaming and running video cameras like I'm doing on my setup. So I kind of push the limit, and what ends up happening is I end up getting 720 gameplay out of it. It's just been kind of the best resolution setting I've found for streaming to a platform, not cloud gaming, but streaming to a platform, right? So yeah, we get a steady 120 in game. It's only using about 50 to 70% of the available bandwidth. We're playing at 1080p in a 16:9 resolution. And I'm going to get into, right now, I think I'll jump into the settings. So let's just quit here. So here's the settings. Basically, the most important thing here, let's see. I've removed the network status icon. This allows you to copy and paste within the virtual machine. It doesn't work too well. It's kind of hit or miss. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Direct mouse input. This is a day one thing. Do this the first time you play GFN. It should be direct mouse input. And if you're playing on MacBook Pro, there is a launch command that you will need to type into terminal, I believe it is. And I will post that command if you guys need that. Here's all your connections. Server location. I dedicate mine to the Southwest because I am in Los Angeles and I'm closest to this server and it works out best. The biggest issue I've found with GFN and reading forums about GFN is the server. So maybe look up what server you would be on and then look at other people's experiences on that server. That's a good way to kind of gauge what your experience will be like. Or do the free tier, I guess, or do as much as you can, or do a month of it before you do a 6-month. Streaming quality. This is the most important setting here that you can adjust, that you have control over. I would say, I mean, this is what's worked for me. I've basically set it to a custom bitrate. I don't know that auto was ever an option before. That's interesting. But custom, I do remember I was on 65, wasn't I? So, looks like I have it limited to 65. VSync off. I could probably turn this up. I'm gonna try this for a day or two on 75. See what difference that makes. I do not do any of this upscaling. In-game graphics settings. This is a new thing on the GFN Ultimate 4080 tier. It allows you to save in-game's graphics settings. I'm assuming that they're just keeping a little file for your account for your graphics settings. That's pretty cool. And some games it is not. It's not connecting. It's not working well. There's a certain game that I play, and every time I go in, I have to reset all my settings. It's a little annoying. Discord rich presence shows you in Discord. And that's about it. Guys, this is the most important thing right here, is this streaming quality. I'll go over it one more time. This changes the bandwidth that it's going to take. I had it set at 65. I've cranked it up to 75 because I get at least 100 megabytes a second from my download. I have it on my native resolution, which is this 1920 by 1080, 16:9 format. But look at all these different resolution scales that you can do. You can do these different ones, which is actually a whole rabbit hole I haven't even gone down. But there's some fun that you can do with this. Like, these are ultra wide settings. These are 4K settings. And I believe with the 4K, when you go up to 4K, it just drops. I believe it cuts your frames in half. So maybe you wouldn't be able to do 120. Maybe it's like 60 frames per second or something like that. So VSync, leave this off. Reflex, I don't know what this is, or I forget, but I leave it off. HDR off, and adjust for poor network connections. This means that your stream isn't going to get downgraded to like a bunch of blocky chunks when you have low bandwidth. It just might freeze. It might drop some frames or something instead. But it's going to maintain the frame integrity. So that's about it. I'm going to wrap this video up. Thank you guys for tuning in. I do recommend GFN. I do recommend the 4080 tier. I recommend pretty much any tier of theirs. The only bad experience I had was there was a payment glitch when I was a founder. Literally, my new card that I had put on file they read my old card, and so of course it didn't renew, and then it booted me out of the founders tier. Even though I said, hey, look, you guys need to run this card, it ran my card and I was reinstated. But a little hiccup like that. I mean, I'm not mad at it. It's a great service. It allows me to game on a MacBook from just about anywhere. I say just about anywhere because anywhere that you have a decent internet connection, you can get away with playing mid to low intensive games. Like I said, I played Magic the Gathering from a hotel room. I played Apex Legends from a hotel room when I had an Ethernet cable. As long as you have an Ethernet cable and a solid internet connection, you have a very good system. The only other con I would say is the game selection. You know, it's about 50-50 for games that come out if it's going to be on GFN or not. I'm thankful that my favorite game, Apex Legends, is on GFN. Otherwise, I probably would. I might, you know, I would maybe have to have a different game that I played every day. Finals has been a new one. I've enjoyed Valheim. This is an old favorite of mine. I revisited Roller Champions the other day. As you can see here in my library, there's a lot of games to choose from though that I've had fun with. You know, they have everything from AAA titles to indie titles, things like that. I'm not sponsored by them or anything, and there's certainly not really a benefit for more people getting on GFN. This is just kind of me, just kind of letting you guys know how I interface gaming. I've been doing it recently through GFN, and I do enjoy the experience. So I'll wrap this video up. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'm gonna if you guys are watching right now on stream, I'm gonna restart the stream right now just so that I can clip this video out for YouTube. All right, I love you guys. I'll catch you guys in the next one.